What's a perfect morning without a refreshing glass of juice, especially apple juice? It's one of those things that feels like it was made for breakfast. There's something about that crisp, slightly sweet taste that hits just right as the sun rises. But if you think making apple juice is as easy as grabbing a few apples off a tree and tossing them into a juicer, you're in for a surprise. Behind every bottle of real apple juice, the ones labeled all-natural or sugar-free's, a deep process full of precision, timing, and science. It all starts long before the apples ever hit the press. Brands don't just pick any apples, they go for the perfect ones, because the type of apple can make or break the flavor. Each apple variety brings its own vibe. Fuji apples, for example, are sweet and juicy with a satisfying crunch. They're the crowd pleasers you'll often find in fruit bowls. Granny Smith, on the other hand, brings that sour punch, tart and bold. It's like the lemon of the apple world. Gala apples. They hit somewhere in the middle with a gentle, floral sweetness. Juice brands carefully monitor the sugar levels, called bricks of these apples, waiting for the perfect harvest moment to guarantee just the right balance. Too early, and the juice is bland. Too late, and it's overly sweet. The goal is always that sweet spot in between fresh, flavorful, and unmistakably apple. Before the apples even get juiced, they're washed thoroughly. Not just to rinse these. Apples get a full soak in cool, flowing water to stay fresh and hydrated. It helps maintain the right temperature and keeps them in peak condition for processing. It's kind of like giving the apples a relaxing bubble bath before they hit the factory floor. As they roll down conveyor belts, they're scrubbed and sorted, and the juicing apples are pulled aside. Factories tend to favor ugly apples for juicing the bruised, slightly misshapen ones. Not because they're lower quality, but because they're often more ripe and packed with flavor. And since they're getting crushed anyway, it doesn't matter what they look like. So yes, ugly apples win again. Where your apple comes from matters too, especially today when people want to know how their food is grown. Brands choose apples from trusted regions where the soil, climate, and farming practices create consistent, flavorful fruit. Take the cooler regions of Argentina, for example, specifically Rio Negro. Apples grown there develop more complex sugars and acidity, making them ideal for juice blends. When a brand sources apples from a known region, they're not just getting great fruit, they're locking in a predictable flavor. No one wants to play guessing games with tartness or sweetness. Consumers expect their apple juice to taste the same every time, and farmers make that possible. That brings us to blending, the art of mixing different apple varieties to create a juice that's just right. A typical formula might be 50% Fuji, 30% Granny Smith, and 20% Gala. But it varies based on the season and what flavor profile they're aiming for. Want a tangier juice? Bump up the Granny Smith. Looking for something smoother and slightly floral? Add more Gala. It's not random, it's a carefully engineered process built around what apples are at their best, what flavors are trending, and what customers expect. And it's not just fresh juice that comes out of these. Factories' frozen apple slices and fruit packs are also in high demand. But these aren't just random apples tossed in a bag. Brands are leaning more into sustainable farming practices, which means fewer pesticides, better soil care, and in many cases, organic certification. That's good for the environment and for consumers who want to know they're making cleaner choices. Local sourcing is becoming more common to not just for freshness, but because it cuts down on the carbon footprint. Less shipping means less fuel, and that supports both the planet and local farmers. Machines do a lot of the heavy lifting, sorting, slicing, freezing, but humans still play a key role. Workers check for quality at each step, making sure only the best apples make it into those frozen packs or juicing vats. You'd be surprised how many touch points are involved just to keep that apple vibe consistent from the tree to your kitchen. Now, Let's talk about another morning essential: ice cream. Okay, maybe not essential for everyone's breakfast, but it's always a win any other time of day. Behind every creamy scoop and perfectly dipped bar is a highly advanced production line that transforms fresh ingredients into dessert magic. It starts at the dairy farm, where healthy, well-cared-for cows produce the freshest milk. As soon as they're milked, the milk is cooled and transported to the factory for pasteurization and quality testing. It has to meet strict standards before moving to the mixing chambers. Once approved, the milk is mixed with cream, sugar, and stabilizers. Massive stainless steel tanks whisk the ingredients at freezing temperatures to develop that airy, fluffy consistency that makes ice cream irresistible. When the base is just right, it's sent into depositors that portion it out for molding and freezing. Smooth nozzles pour the mixture into precise molds, while wooden sticks slide in, transforming the liquid into perfect, handheld treats. Next comes the good stuff, the dip. Robotic arms pick up each frozen bar with impressive precision and gently dip it into pools of velvety chocolate, coating it with a satisfying, glossy shell. It's this outer layer that delivers that iconic crunch when you take a bite. Every dip is exact, no extra drips, no uneven coverage. Automation makes sure each bar is flawless, from coating to packing. Speaking of packing, the entire system is a marvel. Sleek mechanical arms move in sync to line up wrappers, seal edges, and tuck ice cream bars into cartons. Ice cream sandwiches get a similar VIP treatment. Robotic blades slice perfect bars, lay them between two crisp biscuits, and send them off for packaging, all without a single human hand. It's fast, efficient, and shockingly graceful. Temperature is everything. If it's off even a little, the ice cream won't freeze right, the texture won't be creamy, or the chocolate won't set. These factories are finely tuned environments, where every step from mixing to molding is tightly controlled. It's this level of precision that guarantees each bite is as satisfying as the last. And who doesn't have a soft spot for those vanilla ice cream cones? That sweet, creamy vanilla center, the crunch of the cone, maybe some nuts or chocolate drizzle on top, just a classic. Those cones get filled, chilled, and topped by machines that handle each one like a delicate treasure. And yes, if you've ever felt weak at the sight of a fully dipped cone fresh out of the line, you're not alone. The good vibes from these factories are undeniable. Modern ice cream and juice production is where agriculture meets automation. It's a marriage of flavor, freshness, and food tech that delivers the treats we love day after day. Whether it's sipping cold apple juice on a warm morning or unwrapping a chocolate-dipped bar on a summer afternoon, now you know there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than you'd think. From farm to factory, these everyday indulgences are little miracles of science, taste, and teamwork. Ever wondered how those perfectly shaped, glossy, cream-filled donuts from your favorite donut shops are actually made? It all starts with the dough. In giant spiral mixers, a soft, elastic donut dough is carefully kneaded until it reaches the perfect consistency: light, fluffy, and smooth. Once it's ready, the dough is transferred onto wide conveyor belts, where rollers flatten it into sheets, just like a human baker might dust their surface with flour to prevent sticking. These machines do the same automatically, sprinkling a fine layer of dry flour onto the dough before it's rolled out. The dough for donuts is usually a bit thick, so large drum rollers gradually compress it into a thinner, uniform sheet. Any extra flour is gently swept away with brush rollers. Preparing the dough for cutting now comes the fun part: the shaping. Donut cutters, which look like big cookie stamps, punch out perfect donut rings from the sheet. It's mesmerizing to watch. In seconds, hundreds of donut shapes are punched out, while the leftover dough part around the holes is separated and collected neatly. Previously, separating the donut holes was tedious work, but now, robotic clippers remove them efficiently and collect the holes to be used as extras or fried separately. The punched-out donuts continue on their journey while the scrap dough is directed down to collection bins to be recycled into the next batch. It may look easy, but this entire process relies on the exact calibration of high-precision machines, ensuring that every donut is identical in shape and size. Next, the shaped donuts head to the proofing chamber. Proofing is where the magic of fluffiness happens. This step gives the dough time to rise, develop air pockets, and become soft and spongy, the kind of texture that practically melts in your mouth after frying. After rising for a specific period, under controlled temperature and humidity, the donuts are ready to take a hot oil bath. They are carefully transferred into massive industrial fryers, where both sides are fried until golden brown. The fryers are programmed with pinpoint timing to flip the donuts halfway through, making sure each side cooks evenly. Watching rows of donuts float, puff, and turn golden in perfect sync is almost hypnotic. Once fried to perfection, the donuts are scooped out using wire sieves and moved onto the next set of conveyor belts. They pass through alignment tools that spin and place each donut in a consistent pattern to prepare them for cooling. As they cool, they rest on special cooling plates to allow the outer layer to crisp up slightly while staying pillowy inside. After cooling, the donuts roll forward, lining up under precise nozzles that fill them with rich cream, custard, jam, or even chocolate mousse. These injectors, connected to colorful tubes filled with different fillings, push the flavor into each donut with surgical precision. And just like that, the humble ring or ball of fried dough is transformed into a filled dessert. Bomb of happiness. Next comes the chocolate coating, arguably the most drool-worthy part. The filled donuts are placed on a moving belt that passes over a flowing pool of hot, melted chocolate. This chocolate waterfall coats one side of each donut with a glossy, warm layer of sweetness. The system is so carefully designed that each donut lands perfectly on the belt without smearing or dripping chocolate everywhere. After their chocolate bath, the donuts enter the decorating phase, where another automated system sprays on white icing stripes in seconds. A human might take 30 seconds to decorate one donut this way, but these machines, they can do it in fractions of a second, producing thousands of gorgeous designs every hour. And if that wasn't enough to get your mouth watering, here come the toppings. Whether it's crushed nuts, rainbow sprinkles, or chocolate shavings, toppings are added using high-speed depositor machines that sprinkle the perfect amount with amazing accuracy. Any extra toppings that fall off are scooped up and recycled automatically. Then we arrive at the glazed donuts, the ones with that shiny, sticky sweet coating that cracks just a little when you bite into it. Glazed donuts go under a continuous sugar glaze waterfall that coats the entire surface. As they pass through, extra glaze drips away while the donuts are left with a perfect, even coating that hardens into a delicate outer shell while sealing in softness on the inside. But it doesn't stop at chocolate and glaze. For donut lovers who enjoy something a little extra, these donuts pass through even more stations where they're coated in powdered sugar, cinnamon dust, or other custom toppings. Then comes the sprinkle station, the final stop for many donuts. Conveyor belts carry the finished donuts under automated sprinkle dispensers, which shower them in colorful toppings based on the flavor or design. Extra sprinkles fall into trays and are immediately recirculated for reuse. Any remaining glaze, or topping residue, is filtered off by sieve rollers before the donuts move on to packaging. Now we're at the grand finale, packaging. Each donut, whether chocolate-dipped, cream-filled, or glaze-covered, is neatly aligned and packed into branded boxes using automated arms. These boxes are sealed, stamped, and sent off to be distributed to donut shops and cafes across the country. Every step of the way, hygiene is a top priority. The machines are designed to minimize human contact, keeping the environment sanitary and efficient. This ensures every donut that makes its way into your box is not only delicious, but clean, fresh, and safe to eat. And what about the specialty-filled donuts? Those have their own production setup. Dough for these is shaped into perfect balls and dropped into custom molds that shake slightly to round them out. After rising and frying, the filled donuts line up to be injected with flavored creams and custards. They're dipped into chocolate or fruit glaze, and each one is checked for weight and shape. It's not just automation, it's edible engineering at its best. Some lines even have mini glazing stations for cookies and biscuits, where baked goods are drizzled with syrup or honey glaze and tossed in sprinkles, perfect for seasonal treats or holiday editions. And finally, for foods that aren't just donuts, there are machines specifically made to portion pre-cooked meals into boxes. These machines measure precise amounts, like 150 grams per box, and fill each tray evenly without spilling a single drop. Some even dress salads or desserts with syrups or oils using adjustable nozzles. It's smart, efficient, and a game-changer for modern food manufacturing. From dough to glaze, sprinkles to packaging, what used to take dozens of bakers and hours of labor now happens in minutes. It's an assembly line of flavor that never stops working day and night to deliver your favorite donuts just the way you like. Then crispy on the outside, airy on the inside, and absolutely loaded with flavor the next time you bite into a glazed or cream-filled donut. Let's dive into one of the most mesmerizing food factory tours you'll ever see.